My name is Miss Frederick. I'm Isaiah's mom, and we are here obviously for Career Day, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my job, and then I brought some actual parts, and I'll pass them out now. I'll read them first, and I'll pass them out. Okay, so I am a contracts administrator for a aerospace company. And so basically what that means is, let's say, what's your name? Elizabeth? Let's say Elizabeth owns a company, an aerospace company, you make airplanes, and you want to buy a part. Elizabeth would send me a purchase order, which is just a fancy word for like an order, and say, I would like to have 5 of these next year. So she would send that order to me. I would say, this costs $5,000, and I can get it to you by next year in June. And then we would communicate between now, and she would send me emails, hey, is my order okay? Is everything all right? Am I still gonna get my order in June? And I would say, yes, everything is great, because that's the way that the real world works. And then we would send her a box. She would have her part. She'd put it on the airplane, and her airplane would fly. So that's basically what I do. So we make all different types of valves and fuel and pumps, and we make all different types of things. So this here is, it's called a cabin pressure unit, and the part number is a 5412-00-3, which doesn't really mean anything to you guys. And so what this does, how many people have been on an airplane here? Okay, everybody. So you know when you're on an airplane and the flight attendant says, if the airplane loses pressure, a face mask will come down, and you have to stick that on your face. You know that part, what they say? So this is a cabin pressure unit. It regulates or controls the pressure inside of the cabin, inside of the airplane. So if that ever happens, that means my unit, my part, didn't work properly. So that's what this is. So I'm going to pass this around. We'll start with you, Omar, and you can just pass it around. And then here is just an outline. It's not finished. Once it's finished, it has like a pump to it and all different types of like wires and stuff. It's an electrical component. But this is called a landing gear assembly, landing gear control box, and this is just the box. It's not a completed unit yet, and this controls the landing gear. So whenever you're in an airplane and it lands, and the pilot is controlling how fast you're going and how it's going to land and all of that, this does that, and we sell those. And I'm going to start with you, Darlene, and you can pass that around. And then this is just a machine part. It's called a forging. And it just strengthens the part. This isn't an actual part that we sell or anything. I just thought it was cool. It has like this cauliflower or flower shape on the outside, and this is actually really important because if you don't get this right, you have to scrap the parts, and scrap is when you have to throw it away. So what happens is you'll have an engineer, and they make a drawing of the part, and they say, this part should look like this, and it should do these things, and it should be made of these components. And so this part has these little grooves here, and when those aren't done correctly, the parts don't function correctly, and then you have to trash all of them, and that's what you don't want to happen. So I'm going to start this with Omar. And I think that's it. Oh, I should talk about my background. Okay, so my family moved here from Washington State, and so I went to college at the University of Washington. Go Dogs. I'm a Husky. And so I have a bachelor's degree. Everybody knows what a bachelor's degree is? Okay, so it's when you do your 4 years of college. And I actually majored in sociology. I wanted in law, society, and justice. I wanted to be a lawyer. If you want to be a lawyer, go for it. I decided I no longer wanted to do that and went a different route. And I worked in banking for a little while, and then after banking, I got into the aerospace world. Any questions for me?
That's fine.
Okay. Any questions for me? Okay. So, what's your name, Melanie? What's your question, Melanie?
We'll come back to you.
Okay, we'll come back to you. Yes, I can't see your name.
Gabriel, go ahead.
Gabriel.
Do you also make engines for the airplane?
We do. The company that I work for now does not make engines.
Rolls Royce.
So you know the car company? They actually make engines. So my company is a small company in Rome, so we don't make car companies actually actually make airplane parts. Yes, yes, sir. Sammy. We use a lot of metals because they're hard. So like all of those are metals. We use aluminum sometimes when you want things to weigh less and it's softer. So yeah, we use a lot of. We don't usually use gold. It's expensive. We want
And
things to
silver,
stay.
those are not, they're not super, super strong.
Exactly.
So they use really strong metals. And remember, we talked about this gold is like a couple, like 1,000 something per ounce. These are big parts that
Yeah.
get a whole lot of money.
Yes, yes, sir.
Do you guys also make helicopters?
We don't make the actual airplanes, we just make the parts that go onto the airplanes. However, we do make parts for for helicopters. So we make parts for helicopters, we make parts for fighter, like when you're in the Navy or you're in the military, you want to go and you're fighting a war, we make parts for those. And we make parts for commercial flights, so just your regular flights that you're going, if you're flying from here to Washington State. Yes, sir. Hi, Armand. What's your question?
My question's on how come in airplanes they have that thing you put on your nose when like the airplane's going down?
So they have that, and I actually work for the Boeing company. I used to buy the face mask, the oxygen mask. And the reason why is because if the cabin loses pressure and there's not enough oxygen there, they want to pump oxygen to you so that way you can stay alive.
Oh.
It's very important. If that ever happens, make sure you secure that, put that on your face, and do all the instructions. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, darling. Say it again. The oxygen mask, would it what?
Help you?
It will help you. It will help pump oxygen into your body. One last question and then Kev, you can go. Who did I call on? Did I not call on you? Okay, you can go. I can't see
Nicole,
you.
go ahead. You forgot your question? Melanie, did you remember your question? Okay, what is it?
How much do you get paid? So if you go to college, there's an automatic, listen, kids, go to college, okay? Life is very expensive. I think you guys do money here. Don't you give out money and prizes? You know, when you earn that money, when you go to a job, you can make 10 cents an hour or you can make $1 an hour. And sometimes that number is dependent upon having a college education. So at the end of the day, the most important thing is no matter what field you're in, you want to have some type of education to support that. So that way you'll be at the top of the salary range and not at the bottom. That's
Yeah, that was good answer. And remember, guys, it's not usually like, you know how we don't ask ladies how old they are? You don't ask people how much money they make either. Because some people don't want to tell you that. It's private. It's like you can ask me and I'll tell you not enough.
Right.
It's never enough.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll take one more and then Mr. Fredericks has to go so we don't go over time.
All right, Monica, last question.
Monica. How can you make them? So they have tooling, and an engineer sets up, it's a tool, and it actually will carve out, I don't have the 4D, but it will carve out whatever it is you want. So you just created computer programs these days, you just plug in what you want it to do, you stick the metal or whatever you're using, whatever material you're using, you stick it in the machine, and it really does it for you. Sometimes you do it by hand, but a lot of times you don't have to. It's just a tooling. A lot of times the people will do, down here, you can't really see it. Can you guys see this wire in here? Yeah, okay. So that's called a lock wire, and it just holds the parts in place so they don't like untwist, or with, you know, when you're in an airplane and it's shaking, the screws can come undone. And so to prevent that from happening, the lock wire, and a lot of times that's done by hand. It actually takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of skill. And they'll just take like, it's almost like tweezers, and they'll take the two wires and they just twist it. And twist it and twist it, and it gets it tight. It kind of strengthens the wire and prevents it from coming off. Okay.
Let's give her a round of applause. And just on a side note, you guys know how I love purple? The Huskies are purple.
Yes.
The University of Washington, they have purple in go ahead and then, do you want me to put this on full screen?
Yes.
All right,
Play
Isabella, volume. Yeah, just open the screen. It'll be right there. Isaiah, could you hit the bottom light for me?
Amber, are you live right now? Oh, I'm sorry, y'all.
Okay. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make a mixtape. I'm going to show you what I do for a living.
Slide it to the left.
Slide to the left.
All right. Isabella, stop touching the volume.
We grew up on making food. Now we want to know what it tastes like. Let's do it! Okay, let's get started. Which one should we try first? That one? That and green. Just know that I yeah, and I'm going to try it. I'm gonna try chicken noodle soup.
Okay, so you guys get an idea of what I do. I make content for a living. So you see the videos that JoJo did. I guess I can move this up so we can see.
I closed it.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I can put it back up.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We'll be watching them the rest of the day now.
I make content for a living. That's YouTube videos, anything that's digital media. So stuff you can watch on your computer, on your phone. I also, iPad, anything that has a screen, we make content for it. I work at All Def Digital, you see on the back. Do not go there. It's not for children. So we make movies at my job. We make television shows and web series and YouTube videos, everything, Instagram videos, Vine videos, all that stuff. I went to college at the University of Washington. I followed my wife there and went to college, and I studied acting in school and sociology. But mostly acting, and I learned to write there. I wrote plays in college, and that's kind of where I got my background. I do stand-up comedy as well. And also, I write, direct, and produce movies. So I don't know if you guys know, but Zays was in a movie called Little Rascals. So we wrote our own movie. Zays in it, JoJo's in it, my whole family's in it. So we wrote and directed and produced that. And in order to do this, you should go to college and learn how to act, learn how to write, learn how to read scripts. You can watch a lot of movies and research, and then you'll be able to make YouTube videos for a living, which wasn't even a career 3 or 4 years ago. This is a very new career, probably only 5 years old. This is only about 5 years. This career is really new, so YouTube's only been around for 10 years, and it's only been a career for people for about 8 years, and it's only been a career for companies for about 4 years. So Zays worked, that video was on Awesomeness TV, and that was a very new company that started in 2012, and that's about the time that you started being able to do YouTube videos for a living or get paid to do them. So I'm ready for questions from the children. Lots of them. My man right here, Matthew.
Do you guys make internet websites?
We have a website. We post a lot on YouTube, and we have our own website. Sometimes we sell content to other places, like web series. Sometimes companies will pay us to make content for them. So, for instance, if Toyota wants to make a commercial, but they know they want to reach 17-year-old kids, and they know those kids are watching more YouTube than television, so they'll pay us to make what's called a branded video, and they'll pay us and we'll make a video and put it on YouTube, and it's really advertising for Toyota. Yes, my man. Armand.
How do you make videos on the shows?
You can make a video from something as simple as my iPhone. I can record you with this, and then I can edit it. I do YouTube videos on my own too. You can record them on your iPhone, edit them on your iPhone, post them on YouTube. But at my job, we use there are cameras called DSLR, and they're digital cameras. So Canons, and they're for pictures. You know when you see like professional photographers taking pictures, we use those same type of cameras, but we just switch them to video mode. And they're digital cameras. So those are the cameras we use. And then we edit them on a computer and post them. Yes, ma'am.
How do you post a video on YouTube?
You go to YouTube and there's a button on there. You just go to youtube.com. When you're logged in, this button right here that says upload. After you edit your video on your phone or your computer and you save it, you'll just click that button, and it's just like uploading a picture, and it'll tick along, and then it'll upload, and then it'll process, and then it'll be available to view. Yes, sir.
Did you make that video?
I came up with the idea. So for Zays and JoJo, a lot of their videos on Awesomeness TV, I wrote and directed and produced them. So that video wasn't really one that we wrote. It was just a challenge that people were doing. So these videos, all of these ones where you see Zays and JoJo, that's all me, guys. Not Zays and JoJo. That's all me. That's Daddy. So I would write them, then I'll give the lines to Zays and JoJo. I would tell them what to say, how to say it, and then we would edit them. But videos like this challenge video, we just tell them the game we're playing. So like the baby food challenge, it's something that people were doing on YouTube. We just told Zays and JoJo to do it. But for the ones that are scripted, we actually write like top reasons grandparents are better than parents. I wrote that, and I actually have Zay's grandpa in it. So anything on Awesomeness TV with Zays and JoJo, you guys are free to watch.
Was that their first video?
No, Zay's first video, he was a baby. He was only like maybe 3 years old, and we were just playing around.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, he was. He had a little hat on, we were just playing around. We weren't doing it professionally. But no, that wasn't their first video. That was. You see these numbers. Some of them have episode titles on it, but they've done probably a couple hundred videos on YouTube and movies and TV. Actually, a lot of these YouTube videos that are on here have been placed on television, and there's a show called Awesomeness TV with Zays and JoJo, and other people, but most importantly, Zays and JoJo. And those are YouTube videos that we put on the internet and put on TV. Yes, ma'am.
Where do people try out?
Oh, it's a good question. You try out by, it's called auditioning. So you would try and get an agent, and an agent is somebody, so when I'm casting for a web series, like I'm doing, somebody was just emailing me when I was waiting for her. They'll say, hey, I need a girl who can play this role. So I will call an agent that I know, and I'll say, Theo, I need a woman who's 34 that can play this role. And he'll get his clients, and he'll go through and see who he thinks is good, and they'll come audition. So what people usually do is they audition for an agent, and their agent will send them out to audition for shows, or they can just go to auditions by themselves. But that's a little bit harder to do. If you don't have an agent, you won't know all the time who's casting or who's looking for people. There are certain websites that we put out. So if we're looking for people we don't want to go through an agent, we'll go to like lacasting.com, and we'll say, hey, we need a man that's 40, and a kid that's 7, and a person that's 12, and people will send their picture. It's called a headshot. Very, very nice picture of themselves. Sometimes they don't look like that anymore. Sometimes they do. And they'll say, hey, I can do that just like online dating. They'll have like 4 or 5 people, and we'll give them lines to read, and they audition for us, and we'll see whoever's the best one, and then we pick them and cast them.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
First question, how old do you have to be to post on YouTube?
To post on YouTube, you should not do it without your parents' consent, so you should be 13 years old. Technically, I know, guys, it's a tough world. You're supposed to be 13 years old to upload on YouTube unless you have your parents' consent. So Zays and JoJo have actually never posted a video on YouTube by themselves. I do it for them. They've made them, they've edited them, but I actually do the posting.
And then my second question is, if I post something on the internet, does it stay there forever?
Yes. Anything you write, any picture you post, even if you delete it, Once you press send, upload, even if you delete it right away, it is on the internet forever and ever and ever. You can never get rid of it. It'll always come back to bite you. So be careful of what you post on the internet. Even if you're young and you're 10 years old and you say something, or you post a picture, or you send a picture to a friend or a video, anything like that, once it's on the internet, it's never deleted.